All right. Oh, this is fun. Unity in the house. What's up, Brian? Eclipse is here for the Verselab. Cool. Okay, I'll see if we can get to the to some Verselab stuff and switch it out. But that's really not entirely the focus of this. Turn it down a little bit. All right, welcome everyone. Hey, it's Chris Davis here, aka Coolout. Welcome to the live Q&A hangout session. We're gonna talk a little bit about the MC-101 from Roland. So last week we did a Q&A on the Verselab MV1, and we had such a good response. I had so much fun because I love answering questions and I like messing around and talking gear with folks that I decided, hey, let's do it again. See what goes on. And so, I have the MC-101 here, and I know a fair amount about it. I've done a bunch of different things with it, done demos for Roland for it in various genres. And been making my own beats with it, and I figured, hey, it'd be a good thing to talk about because I know there are a lot of MC-101 videos out there, and there's a lot of folks who have MC-101s and 707s, and maybe this can be a platform to exchange ideas. And you might pick up some things. I have some tricks on the 101 that I'm sure you haven't seen anywhere. So let's get to it. Now we'll see if we have a chance, maybe a little bit later, to answer some questions about the Verselab also. And let me see, where am I going to put this? Okay. For some reason, my chat box is not showing up on my screen. That's okay. We'll just use it right here. Yeah, this is definitely the Q&A for the 101. But if you have questions about the Verselab, we can answer those too. I have the Verselab here. And as a matter of fact, I'll say one thing about the Verselab that I'm very excited about. Let me grab it. All right, so today I got this in. I don't know if you can see this. Let me make sure I can show this. Okay, cool. Rechargeable battery to test with the Verselab to see what the battery life is like. They say that the it's basically 10,000 milliamps equals 10 hours. So I got a 20,000 milliamp rechargeable battery, and I started it at 8:30 this morning and just turned it off. So it was about 10 hours, I think, and it's at 50%. So it's 20 hours, fits in the palm of your hand. It's only it's maybe 3x3, maybe a little over a half an inch thick, and you can just power your Verselab or any of your other devices for a very long time. And this was like $17-18 off Amazon. But definitely, if you look at getting a rechargeable battery, make sure you get one where you can see how much battery life you have left. So you're not so it doesn't turn off in the middle of you working. So that's rechargeable battery, the USB power bank for any of the devices that can be powered through USB, whether it's the 101 or the Verselab MV1. Put that up. Let's load some other tracks. Let's see here. So, for those that don't know, not familiar with the 101, it's a Groovebox from Roland. It's basically designed for to be a mobile sketch pad for improvising, live jamming, live performance. I guess you could say it has a lot of performance features. Has the Zencore sound engine, which over 3,000 sounds. So you're definitely wide range of sounds from electronic things to acoustic sounds, pianos, flutes, all that other kind of stuff. And so it's very flexible. And then you have 4 tracks, which can either be drum tracks, tone tracks, or a looper track, which you can kind of loop audio, record audio from the other tracks into it. And then I'm going to show you some other little tricks with it also. Let's see, what should we do here? Let's do... So, you have melodic sequencers, you have step sequencers, rhythmic sequencers, melodic sequencers, step sequencing. You can record into it live. You can record without quantize. You can import samples into it, wave imports, and where you can edit the samples. Each one of the tracks has track effects. When you import a wave file, you have the ability to truncate. You have EQ and filter and envelope. So you can do a lot with it. And of course it has like all of the Roland effects, a bunch of stuff from the kind of whole range of Roland, whether it be the Boss guitar effects to some of the emulations of their hardware units to stuff from like the SP series. And then you have the performance effects like scatter and things like that. So a lot of different things on it. Let's go to a full screen so you can see, because I'm probably going to be showing this kind of stuff down here. So specifically as far as utilizing the MC-101 when you're making, if you want to make hip-hop, R&B, whatever style, I think the 101 is a pretty good fit to do those and to kind of fit within whatever style you're trying to make, because you have that Zencore engine, but at the same time it's still small enough and you can just, wherever you're going, just jot down a quick idea. You can have the pads, you can put it in key and play in a musical key, and if you need more control, you can MIDI up a keyboard or other type of controller to it. So it's just a lot to squeeze into a small package, and I really dig it. Let me see if there's anything in the questions here. Let's get the questions going. Yeah, we're definitely in need of more hip-hop love from the MCs, Machine Lab. Okay. Since there's no questions, I'm just going to go ahead and show some next level stuff. Okay, so I guess I should talk about this beforehand. Some of the difference between the 101 and the other Grooveboxes or Zencore products that Roland has, that has the Zencore engine in it. Because the same synthesis engine is in the 101. It's also in the MC-707. It's in the Jupiter XM. It's in the What else? It's in the new Phantom. It's in the new Verselab. So you have a huge range of products at different price points that all have the same synthesis engine. And some of the higher level stuff has additional synthesis engines in it. But particularly with the 101, you have some differences between the 101 and the 707. Mainly that the 101 doesn't have audio inputs, so you don't have live sampling. The 101 has only 4 tracks, so you're limited in the 4 tracks as opposed to the 8 tracks on the 707. Let's see some other differences between the 101 and the 707. The pads are not touch sensitive. Let's see. So you have to input velocity either by if you're using a sample, importing a WAV file, spreading it across pads, or connecting like a pad controller using an external keyboard, or programming in the sequence step by step by editing the note. So there are limitations, but there's ways to kind of get over those limitations. For instance, the 4-track limitation, you have the looper track. Any of the tracks can be assigned as a looper track, and you can actually bounce the 3 to any number of the tracks into a single looper track. So you can kind of bounce it into a single track and then delete that track or move to another clip and then add more elements to your beat. So you can actually expand beyond the 4-track limitation. As far as audio inputs, I actually found a kind of hack to add audio inputs, and this will be my technique for the day that I'm going to show. So, cool thing about the 101 is that you have USB. It can be powered through USB. It can be powered by batteries, but you have through USB a bunch of different functionality. If you have a tablet like an iPad or iPhone, you have generic drivers that are class compliant, so you could utilize that to send audio and MIDI through those mobile devices. If you have the custom Roland drivers on your Mac or PC, that unlocks additional functionality where it shows up as, I believe, 10 outputs and 4 inputs. So you have stereo outputs for each one of the tracks, in addition to the main output. And then you have 4 inputs, 4 mono inputs or 2 stereo inputs coming through the 101, which can be that's the main out mixed with the external input. So that's where the secret comes in of unlocking the ability to have audio inputs into the 101. Because if you have a DAW, if you run an Ableton or some other type of DAW, and I'm not sure how this works on PC, but on Mac it's pretty easy, where you can, on a number of DAWs, you can say that your input is going to come from one sound card and your output is going to be to another sound card. And let's see here. Let's look up. Let me load this. So anyway, so you can load that. So you can set it up to where you basically pipe the external input from one sound card through your computer into the USB of the 101, which will enable you to record into a looper track, and through the audio input on another USB audio interface. In addition to that, it also enables you to process sounds live through the 101. So I'm going to show you real quick. Let's see here. I'm going to turn down my mic and I'm going to turn this one up and see if it works. Let's see here. Check. 1, 2. 1, 1. There we go. 1, 2. Okay. All right. So now I basically have microphone input going into a little cheap M audio interface, and I'm going through Ableton. And what I'll do is show you the Ableton screen. Make sure it's correct. Okay, let's see here. Make sure I'm showing the right screen. Okay, there we go. So in Ableton, basically, if you see here on this preferences, I have a different one input set, one device set is the input, one device is the output, and then it's just running through a blank track that's armed. And so now I can add effects directly to my microphone input. Even the stutter. You know, it's pretty easy to just put anything you want on it. Yeah. So now you can do your live performance, do your live vocals on top of it. If you're a vocalist, you know, and mix it with. Got some SP-404 DJ FX looper effects. Yeah, so that's all the things you can do. Okay, let's answer some questions here while this beat is playing. Let's see here. Is there a shortcut for sub steps? Man, you should tell me if there's a shortcut for sub steps. Is there a shortcut for sub steps? You should be able just to shift, hit the step, and then bring it up on the note edit menu, right? And there it is right there. Turn it, put in your sub steps. Okay. See if there's anything else here. So far, really, the only question left is Verselab question. Someone wants to see the Eclipse wants to see the melodic and chord sequencing on the Verselab. So, I guess we should go ahead and hook up the Verselab then. Got to give the people what they want. I guess some other things we should talk about. Probably that's a little bit pertinent. Would be the MC-101 versus the Verselab. Because although they both have the Zencore engine, they're very different units. And as far as how the workflow is, the MC-101 works, I'd say, similar to Ableton Live's session view, where it's all based on clips and scenes. And so in like all these tracks you hear as I'm arranging, the arrangements are done by going through the clips and then choosing the clip behavior. So the clip is just basically a sequence, and you go through and say, okay, if I go through this clip, what's going to be the length, the scale, and then what happens after this clip is done playing. Do I want to just stay on that clip, or do I want to move to an additional clip? So what I have here for each one of the tracks, most of the tracks I should say, is basically 4 clips, kind of each part of the song, or each part of the sequence, and it's just kind of cycling between from the first clip when that's done, play clip 2, play clip 3, play clip 4, and then on 4 go back to clip 1. Now I could kind of, for that particular track, do a complete arrangement of clips and then have one end, but it's kind of set up to be like that, and then a scene, and you have to do that for each one of the tracks. So it's a little less intuitive than working on a linear DAW if you're used to arranging that way, which is why most people want a song mode. Whereas the Verselab is completely designed around creating songs. So it's organized differently, where you just have your clips are in sections, and then you just arrange your sections in a linear song. But you don't have this kind of workflow where you can go in and have like just different scenes and kind of improvise. You don't have things like the scatter. You don't have faders where you can quickly move stuff out, in and out, where you can have like you have filters on each track that you have access to at the same time. You have the scatter, you have the master effects. So it's more set up for jamming, live performance, and then also the fact that it's really small for putting out, getting quick ideas down while you're traveling and stuff like that. So let's get the Verselab. Oh, before we do that, so Steve had a question. You said envelope filter. You mean like you want to see how the sample editing is on the 101? Let's see here. Show a little bit. It's tough to with the lag, figuring out how to do this, how quick to jump on these. So let's say I'll show you on this particular one. Okay, so these are just imported waves. And then if I shift, hit the pad, we'll see the options to where on pad edit, to go through where you can change the level, pan, reverb and delay send for each sample. And then you have the cutoff and resonance for the filter. And then you have the envelope where you can change the attack, decay, and release. And then you have an EQ. Right? We exit out of that, and then we go to sample edit. You have the play mode, so it can play forwards or in reverse, or forwards then in reverse. This is where you would edit your start point. If you just want to go through, hold down shift, you can kind of go through the whole track, the whole sample pretty easily. Then so start, end it in the loop. And then also where you would set the pitch, whether it's the key or the fine tune, and then the gain for the sample. So it's pretty easy to like load a WAV file up really quick, spread a WAV file across a number of keys, pads I should say, and then just change the starting endpoints and chop them up real quick. I find it pretty easy to. And at the same time too, like as opposed to like say the SP series, you have more control per sample because you have that EQ, you have that filter per sample, and then you also have the delay and reverb send, where you don't have that on the SP404 or 303. All you have is one effects processor, just one, and the only way you can add effects to individual pads is you have to resample. So you're constantly resampling, and then you can't play the sample chromatically either. So that's one of the reasons why I think the 101 is just highly underrated, because it's small and it's portable, and you have so much power, just even as a sampler, more than, a lot of folks did when using hardware samplers in previous times. So, you can just add up your samples, and you have, your sequencer. Now this is just one track. I could have, these 16 samples. I could have, all 4 tracks be a drum kit containing 16 samples. So I mean that's quite a fair amount of samples, and then having channel effects on each track. In addition to that, and the master effect too, so I can put a compressor over the whole thing, or do the 404 effects like the lo-fi compressor, DJ FX looper, things like that. Anyway, so and then on top of that, of course, in addition to the samples, like I have on this, I always use a mixture of samples, and then I play different things on top of them. So that's so of course I'm running like whoops. There we go. So we got bass, synth, just mixing the built-in synth sounds with samples. Just taking the chopped up chords for something else, and then adding bass lines, melodies, stuff like that. Okay, that's the 101. Let's see if we can bring in the Verselab. So I'm going to turn this off. This is probably not going to look good on the, it's going to be probably a little too big. Okay, I'm going to see if I can adjust this a little bit. Okay, cool. And let's plug in the USB. Go through a handy dandy little battery here, because we still have 50% left. All right. Okay, the Verselab, it is plastic. Okay, so let's see here. So questions about the make sure we got actual. Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Okay, so Verselab questions. All right. Someone wanted to see the Eclipse wanted to see the melodic and chord sequencing on the Verselab. Melodic and chord sequencing. All right, let's just start a new project real quick and see if I can. Show something. Okay. So some differences between the MV and the Verselab, other differences. We talked about how the 101 is set up primarily to be a sketch pad to create your grooves, on the go, or just to be kind of like a small sound module that you use with other things, or to aid with kind of a live performance thing. The Verselab takes a totally different approach and is focused on being basically a studio in a box and song creation, taking you step by step. You have like this workflow strip that's so important that I'm sure every manufacturer is going to try to copy at some point, because I think this is just genius. So step by step, taking you through the whole thing from your initial idea, all the way to sequencing your stuff, to arranging it, to balancing everything out, mixing and putting your automation, recording your vocals, then to your final mix down, master effects, and then streaming it to a wave. So you just go from left to right, So let's find some presets here. So one of the differences between, as far as sound engine goes, between the MV and the other, and the Grooveboxes, the Verselab and the Grooveboxes, is that you have additional presets in the MV that are mainly, I'd say, kind of mainly designed for modern rap, trap, pop type stuff. For instance, on the 101 in the synth bass category, well, I should say, this is how I should put it. The Verselab has all of the same presets as the 101 with additional sounds. So like say on the synth bass category, you have like 30 kind of 808 sub type basses in the Verselab, and then it just goes into the regular presets that are in the 101. So you have anywhere from 5 to 10 extra presets on a lot of the categories, and then you have additional categories. all this very subby 808 stuff. So I'm going to hold down shift and go to like something else. And then let's go to node. Oh, not node, I'm sorry. We're going to, not velocity, go to edit note. Well, before I do that, let me click and make sure I save that sound. Edit, then note. We're going to put in a key. Let's go into D. Let's go to minor. Okay. And then, so as far as note sequencing, pretty simple. You know, we have a note here. We can put down the step. You know, so we could just kind of go. Let's try to change the tempo. And then let's find something else. Let's find some something for chords. I'm going to apologize. This is not going to be the most brilliant things. I'm just flying off the seat of my pants here. Let's see here. Let's go to electric pianos. So in a lot of the acoustic categories, the sounds in the Verselab, you have some additional presets where they're kind of like vintage, lo-fi kind of versions of the acoustic sounds. Go some octave. Okay, and let's go to the chords. So we could just enter in this, you know, chord pads. You know, if we wanted to, we can go in and actually edit the chords. Oops, let me go in and actually click the sound again. And then actually add additional notes, because right now it's just set up for a triad. And then change the color of the pads. Anyway, I don't want to embarrass myself by creating anything any further, anything that's further not good. But let me see this chat and see if I've let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Oh, plenty of questions. Okay, some clips went to work. Let's see here. Okay, how does melodic sequencing work with the steps? I think I showed that. Same for single notes. I believe, you know, it's just, I believe it's the same thing. So. Yeah. Or I guess we could go through and, oops. Not sure. I think we went through this before as far as entering on the by step. I have to come back to that one. Okay, and he said, and for vocal takes, can you record from the line in instead of the mic? Absolutely. How about a chord, both holding multiple pads And then the chord mode from style. Well, I mean, you can utilize the I think it's the arpeggiator. Let's see here. They may be different. No, I think they're different modes, I believe. Between utilizing the style mode, you know, which is like a single note in different rhythms, and then the arpeggiator, which is, you know, going to be a rhythm of successive notes, and then a chord. They're all completely different pad modes. Will external keyboard via MIDI trigger the chords? I haven't tried it, but I'm thinking probably not, because it's a mode of the pads, not a MIDI translator. Cool. All right, let me get out of this because this is sounding not that good. Cool. Let's see if there's any other questions I missed. Okay. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions here. What are the loop options? What loop options are in sample playback? Let's see here. And then, can you copy and paste steps? Absolutely. So it's just copy right there. And you see the copy menu comes up, says you want to copy from this note to what other note. So from 1 and 2 to 3, copy. And then now it's on 3. I just deleted it. So you can copy notes in between pretty easily. Either through a menu, or usually there's a shortcut. You just hold down copy and press what you want to copy. Let's see, another question here. Can you monitor the line input without recording a sample? Yep, you can. I'm pretty sure, because it's the same thing. It's probably running through the same. I'm gonna hook up the mic here to show you. So it's probably the same. Check. Bring my other mic down, and then we're gonna bring this here. So this is the handheld mic. And if you go into edit, we can change the mic input from, let's see, we can put it off. That's the built-in mic. I think you may need to actually monitor it, because if I set the Not sure. I have to test that out with a line level signal. Because it looks like it's on the mic input. That's not affecting the line input. It actually just turns it off. Copy step 1 to step 3 like if you had a chord step. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to copy everything on that step. So Eclipse, yeah, you can definitely copy from a chord that's on one step to multiple steps. Can you create your own hi-hat styles? I believe the styles are all presets. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I... No, there's no, yeah, there's no, let's see here, on the edit of the styles, you have different variations. No, it's arpeggiator. So no, you don't have an edit mode necessarily for the styles. Probably the easiest thing to do is just to mix and match, because they're just all rhythmic divisions. So as you're programming in your hi-hats, you could and just play that into the sequence. Let me put in something else here. Okay, any other Verselab questions? Can you extract the sound from a kit into a new track? Yes, you absolutely can. On the kit, let's go into sequence. Let's get out of the no mode. And if we go to the kit, let's see here. I believe it's so drum instrument copy, and then I think that may be just a copy within the same kit. What was that? There is a command for it. I just have to remember where it is because I've only used it like once. Maybe, let's see. Here we go. Instrument parameter copy from pad 1. Let's see, to... Actually, this is what I'll do. Hold on. Oh, no, I was okay. Edit. Some parameter copy from pad 3. On. Let's see here. I think you may have stopped me on that, but there is a way. There's definitely a way to do it. Let me see if I can figure it out real quick. Well, I know just strictly from even before that, there's a way to copy it. I have to figure it out. But just even from the presets on the drums, you can actually browse through just how you would browse through a separate patch. So you can go through all like the hi-hats and stuff like that. Okay, Mojo Drum. How is this engine compared to the 707? Like I said before, same Zencore engine with additional presets. So you have a lot more sub basses. You have some of the kind of retro, lo-fi, vintage versions of some of the acoustic sounds. You have some additional categories, like you have there's a category called stack, which is I'll show you. Let's see here. Let's clear out this track real quick. So we're going to clear this track, and now we're going to make this a tone track, and then we're going to go into preset, and then we're going to go to stack. So what stack is, it's kind of made like an easy way to get like those kind of subby 808 bass lines with a kick. So it's a kind of mono punchy sounding kick mixed with a sub underneath. So what I'm doing is I'm going to shift and go down some octaves. So you hear the kick with the sub underneath. So you can make this part of your pattern. And it's different. Oh man, some things are really punchy and out there. It's forward, I should say. Oh, that's a cool one. So it's like a, punchy kick, but then if you hold it down with the sustain, you get the sub. That's cool. I'm going to use that. Anyway, so that's stack. So that's a whole category that's not on the Grooveboxes. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Will the connection with Zenbeats via iPad allow for deeper editing and sound design? If so, will the data be stored on iPad or actual unit? I am not sure exactly because they have not. I don't have a beta for anything for the Zenbeats integration or anything like that. I've only heard just kind of a long roadmap, so I really can't say what features it's going to have. But because it's going through, it's kind of like a Zenbeats thing, which is I guess like a separate development team. So people that work on the app, that it's going to be like regular updates that come out with Zenbeats, as far as the features go. But basically, what it's going to do, from what my understanding, don't quote me on this. This is just my understanding. I may be wrong about this. Is that it's going to be more like a kind of front end, like a front end like screen for the Verselab, for a lot of the functions. So the actual sounds won't be in necessarily in Zenbeats, from what I understand. You know, it's almost going to be like almost like a remote, you know, control or editor for the Verselab that's going to be plug and play with Zenbeats. That's all I know. I don't know what features are going to be are going to show up when they finally do launch it in probably the next couple of weeks. So I'm waiting just like you guys are. Okay, Eclipse with all the questions. Keep them coming, man. Can you set loop points in a melodic sample? Yeah, so I mean, like any wave you import. Let's say if I want to, let's get out of this. And so on this track, if I wanted to import a wave file, I'm going to go to wave file, which makes sense. And then I'm going to go to, let's see, I'll go to one of my, let's see, how about this? Let's see here. Let's go to, these are like one shots. Let's go to the loops. Okay. Let's import that. So if we wanted to, we can edit. Let's see here. I think the editing may be different than on a drum kit. Let's see here. First, let's go in and then let's change the behavior of it. Let's take that release all the way down so it can keep playing, and the decay, and then let's change it to a sustain and then to a single. And then let's go in and sample edit. The stack feature is it's just a patch, so they're already just different. They're different kicks stacked with different different subs. Can you chop and slice a sample into a new kit? Absolutely. Let's see here, Mojo Drum. Can you explain the vocal feature and how it's used? Sorry. No, this is what it's for. Please ask questions away. Can you do 808 glides and portamento? Man, you guys are coming up with good questions. It's like guys are on top of it. Let me see here. Hold on one moment because I gotta find the chat box again. Oh. Let's load something to play while I get situated here. So the chat. Give me one moment. I'm trying to make sure I get the chat box back so I can see what everyone is saying. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Let's mute that. There we go. Finally. Good Lord. Sometimes this streaming stuff is not easy. Okay, so going back to where it's saying, yes, there is. So to answer the question, yes, there is a loop option in the sample edit to set a loop, and you can also set the behavior. Let's see here. Can you chop, slice, and sample into a new kit? Absolutely. Once you, basically when you sample, it's just in a buffer. And when it's in that buffer, you can go through, edit the samples, edit the start and end point of sample, and then choose to slice. And then when you slice, you just set it to a pad in a kit. So you can say, you just go to that, press that track, and press that pad, and it saves it to that pad in the kit. If you press a melodic tone type track, it's going to drop that sample, that one sample, into the whole track, and then you can play it chromatically. Let's see here. Can you explain the vocal feature, and can it be used, and how it can be used? Okay, so let's see. Do I have anything loaded here yet? Let's show some vocal recording real quick. Let's get back to yeah, there is a loop option in the sample edit menu. It's right after the start point, where you just set the loop point. Okay. Okay, so this is something I'm working on right now. So I have sequences set in the clips. They're in the section, so I have different sections of the song. Right? And then I have, in the song mode, I have each one of those colors you saw on the section laid out in a linear song. If I want to add more, I just hit record, and then I could just choose a step, and then, press that pad, and it's going to put it there. But now I have it to where, where I want it to end. So if I want to record, all I have to do now, see, I can hit there to start any point in the song. I go to vocal, the vocal track, choose a pad, arm it, and then, okay, and I'm going to take out this guy right here. So now I'm talking through the built-in mic, and I can choose to add an effect to it from the vocal processor, from the track effect, or I can just go dry, and I can even put the effect on without recording the effect to the track. So if I want to hear reverb and delay on myself, or I want to make it a little wet to get into the groove, I could do that, but it's still recorded dry. But anyway, so after we have the vocal, we just hit record, put it to a pad. Actually, okay. Now it's going to give me, I have a set for count in. 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Haha. Right? And so 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. And it's there. 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Right? Okay, turn this mic back on. So from there, I can do a bunch of different things. If I edit that particular take, you have where you can edit like a sample, change the start and end point. I can move it around. I have the level. I can set the level of it. And then I have different routing that I can do where I can assign it to just to the track, right, which is dry, where only the track settings will affect it. Or I can route it directly to the track effects. So that would be if I wanted to put reverb and delay on this one take, but have the other takes go directly to the track and not have reverb and delay. So if I wanted like just reverb on the background vocals or the ad libs or something like that. And then you have these 6 bus compressors. So if you have multiple takes like background vocals and you want to bust them all together to kind of tighten them up, your backgrounds, you can do that. And then that bus compressor, any one of those 6 bus compressors can feed back in to the multi-effect, the track multi-effect. And then you have on top of that the vocal processor, which is a whole other stuff, which is all of your vocal chain, which is going to have all your vocal specific stuff like your noise gate, de-esser, all of the auto pitch, stuff like that. So many questions. I'm going to start at the top. Let's see here. Start from the newest one. Can you record mutes? Clip's got all the questions. Can individual sounds in a drum kit have their MFX send level set independently? I believe no. The MFX it's on the drum kit is basically like an insert effect. You have sends to the reverb and delay on a drum kit, but the MFX is basically an insert. And then on top of that, but of course for each sample you have the EQ and filter, so you can still shape the sound that way. Also, can you record mutes? There's a couple of ways you can possibly do it, because you can record motion. And so what you can do is you can basically assign like a the level control to one of the parameter knobs, and then use that to adjust the volume. And that's how you can create fades for a track, but you can actually kind of dip it up and down, and as automation make the track mute. So that's one way. As far as the mutes in the mixer, I'm not sure if there's a way to actually automate that. Thanks for that. Okay, let's see. Can you export stems, and can you show resampling on an internal track? Okay, so as far as stems go, there's no direct way to just kind of send stems out, because on the mix down mode you have the choice of the full track, the full song, just the acapella, or just the instrumental. But what you can do is to do stems, what you would have to do is utilize the mute function and mute the tracks and just stream them one by one, because the streaming is in it's in real time. So you'd have to make a mix down of just track 1 with all the other tracks muted. Track 2, you'd have to do it step by step. Let's see here. There was one more thing. Oh, you wanted to see how to sample internally. The mutes are just part of the mixer. So it's like, say if I here, let me I'm going to delete this. So it's just mixer, and you see all the tracks light up, and you can probably be better if I. So let's say here, so let me see what I have going on this track. Let's go to sequence. Okay, so look. So here's the track I'm not using. Pretty sure. So that's my. Okay, so I have 2 free tracks I haven't used yet. So let's say I'm going to go in and let's see. So I'm going to go in and let's put this at, which section are we in? Actually, it's section. Okay. Now let's go in and let's check our sample settings, recording settings, and we're gonna set this to clock, and then our source can be any of the tracks or the full mix down. So what I want to do, I'm going to, the full mix out, I should say. Set it to mix out. We got a level. And now I should be able to just shift, record to get into sampling. And as soon as I hit the play, it's going to sample everything coming through the mix out. And you have up to 63 seconds. Okay, cool. So now we can edit the start point. If I wanted to, I could, the end point, I could normalize it if I wanted to. I could slice it up if I wanted to. And then I could also just export it directly to the SD card without saving it on any track at all. You know, just bypassing the machine in general, directly to the SD card. So what I can do now is I could add it to that track if I wanted to, or add it to a pad in the drum kit. So if I just hit that, let's see, actually hit that, it says set sample. So I'm gonna set the sample to this particular track. And did I do that correctly? Oops. Okay. Check the mixer, maybe it's not. It's here somewhere. Or maybe I should check the track settings. Because nothing's playing. Try that again. Let me clear this track. Set that as a tone track. Sample it. Let's go through and then let's set the sample. There we go. I was in the wrong pad mode. And so just like this regular sample, you know, it's right there on the track. Clear that out. Okay, how's the time stretch on the looper tracks? It's so, honestly. It's not designed. It's not gonna compare it to anything on the desktop. It's just kind of, if you just had like an odd percussion loop or something like that, you want to move 10 or 15 BPMs up or something. It's not for extreme time stretching, really. Let's see here. Can you save your changes to a sound preset? I think everything is saved on the project level. So what you can do is import your tracks from other projects. Cool. All right, how are we doing on time here? Okay, I think we're going to bring this to a close. See if there's any questions I haven't answered. No, it's all good, man. Eclipse, it's all good. I appreciate your questions. And some things I need to check. I need to check about the how to properly do portamento and slides. I mean, it should be just a matter of setting it to portamento on the in the instrument edit settings. So you should be able to do a slide like a slide with like any one of like the kind of kicks type samples, like sub type samples, I should say. I like old man beats. Yes. Okay, I'll give the chat a second to catch up. See if there's any other questions. Cool. All right, so I think that's going to do it. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. And if I get enough questions and this is helpful to some folks, even though it can be a little bit stressful, but it's still fun. I like the pressure of it and the how unpredictable it is. Maybe we'll do this again. Definitely as more of the Verselab gets into people's hands, there'll be a lot more content out on it, and all those questions that people have will be answered. But definitely check out the 101 if you're just looking for something small and you want to jam out with, use it with your other gear, use it in live performance. I think the 101 has a lot of power in it and a lot of sounds. I like making beats on the 101. The Verselab is, in my opinion, a bit more serious. It's about getting to the end goal of finishing a song, and which is a whole different approach and a whole kind of different state of mind. It's almost like the workflow strip is like a video game. It's like you have to, it's like looking at you like level up, get it to the next level. You want to make it to that finish line at the end. That little picture of a file, of a WAV file. You want to get to that. Whereas on some of the other devices, you can just sit there and make stay at level 1 the whole time. Just sequence, maybe make a little bit of an arrangement, but you can just sit there and just kind of freely make stuff and just have fun playing around with the scatter and just jamming out. So anyway, Can we watch this again? I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna put this back up. We would just have to do it again. Because I wish the presentation was a little bit more structured. But we'll see. We'll see. If I go back and look at it and it's not too embarrassing, I'll re-up it. But once again, thanks everyone. We'll see you around on the forums. If you do have a 101 or you plan on getting a Verselab, feel free to download the documentation, particularly on the 101. You want to make sure that you get both the owner's manual and then the reference manual, which is the real owner's manual, I think, that has all pretty much everything, how to all the shortcuts and all the various explanations of the various features. Verselab, you have the owner's manual. Oh, and then also the Facebook groups. There is a new Facebook group for the Verselab. So if you haven't joined that and you want to keep up with how that's going, feel free to jump in on that on the Verselab MV1 Facebook group. It's the one with my name in it, Chris Davis, on there. Uni-E's on there, Brian's on there, a lot of folks from the other 101, 707 forums. Yeah. And stay tuned for more content and more people using the Verselab. I think it's a cool device. So on that note, we'll catch you next time.